Hello guys, this is Woody Q8 here. A lot of people have been asking about gear, so I'll give out some simple sort of beginner to intermediate to max rally lead that I recommend personally. And so we'll go and start with the basics. So we'll do a cavalry, non-champs to begin with. So most players will have the following set right here, and I'll show you this, the fist, and of course the drums. This is the standard 2018 gear set, and now there is a new accessory. But this is what you want to start off with for your calves if you don't go the champ routes. If you're going to go the champ routes, then you're going to want these two items first, followed by this. And then after this, you can pretty much make the accessories, the new accessories, or you can continue on your quest to make the offhand and chest, and to finish off with, you want the accessories. This is pretty much your top cavalry set that you can get. This is the best set that if you're gonna invest all champs in it. However, if you're not planning to do all 9 accessories, the best one to just do will be the face, which you make it yourself look something like this. And you can use the face for your mixed, for non-mixed, and just infant cap. And for range, you can always use your cups. For range, the beginner set starts like this. And we'll put this on. I believe it's this one. And this one, and of course your cups to finish off with. If you don't have the cups and you're on a lower budget, then you can always go blight rings. So it would look like this. Next up above this, I recommend the cups, doing the tycoons, doing getting the small packs that you can, and hunting bonds, bond buses, whatnot. This is what your main set's gonna look. Once you upgrade the champ pieces, that I would first recommend for the range blast would be a chest. After the chest would be your boots. And pretty much after this, it's just however much you want to spend. You can get the accessory, which this, or the offhand, which this one doesn't really give you any stats other than adding defense, but it works well with a mix set, followed by the main hand and the helmet, and as always, accessories go last if you want to get better than cups, and you'll pretty much rock this layout. And this is pretty much the highest range set you can get if you go full champs, and if not, pretty much how we started. For infantry, there is this new offhand if you're non-champs, which I should mention too. There is a new piece that is good for non-champs, which will be this one. If you're not going to get the range champ chest, then this beastly breastplate is a good investment, but in my opinion, it's better to just invest in the champ chest itself. So then we'll go to the infantry. Most infantries will start off like this. We'll put the beast helm with this, and I believe some people use this or the tacit. I know that there is a shield which I never made because you just work on the chant pieces, but gloves are also accepted. And then, you're going to start with your files. And this is pretty much the most basic. Well, this would be the most basic. And then once you upgrade from this would be a better. And then after this, you want the cups you can share along with the range cups. You can make a multi-purpose or not. The two chant pieces that I recommend for this one would be the boots and the offhand. And this pretty much can get you a pretty strong inf blast to make you a pretty good blaster when it comes to rattle leading. After those two pieces, you can pretty much work on the main hand, followed by the helm. Some people don't like the chest. We personally use the chest simply because it allows you to stay food positive if you're ever captured. That's pretty much it, and it gives you a little more attack, but you do lose HP. However, if you put on the accessories, they will pretty much help you with that. There we go. So at last, your blast set will look something like this if you go full champs. There is some new pieces that were introduced, and I'll go over those now. Let's see, it's probably better just go here. So the gorilla, the main hand is good if you're not going to get the champion one. The accessories are also very good. They give you pretty much the same attack as the champ accessories, just not enough HP. Pretty much the equivalent of a cup. You can call it the cap cup. The other stuff, irrelevant. Cottage War has a good main hand that a lot of people like to use, and not fan, but again, champ's still better, in my opinion. And I mean, gear is also based on your budget and how you plan on investing and how strong you want to be. Hoop Claw has the boomerang, however, I have the guitar, which there's no need for it. The breastplate's another good one, which if you're not planning on doing a champion chest, then you're going to want to do this now. So I don't really recommend this, right? I'd recommend everyone to just get the champ chest, because even the champ chest with gold is still pretty good. And lastly, I believe that's it. So what I recommended for the first champ pieces was pretty much something that makes you look like this. So you start off with the boots, would be your first piece. Then you go off to your offhand, followed by your chest. Once you do your chest, then you do your main hand and helmet. This gives you a 5-piece chance. You're able to make a decent mix set. If you have your 3 cups, now you're looking like pretty much every big rally lead that's out there that's non-champ. Once you do these, I recommend getting all 3 boots, because then you can change up how your balance is. So for example, since you have the cups, you have a lot of inf range. To balance it out, a lot of people like to use calf boots, which will make your stats balance themselves out. Another thing you can also do is go after the other main hand, which is this one. This will replace the Terror Lash for your inf set, as this main hand is not that much needed, and you can use this champion blade also as a mix set. Another way you can do would be to run a 4-4-2. So pretty much it would look something like this. And that's when the lamp I told you in the range would come in handy, and this gives you a pretty strong 4-4-2, which a lot of people like to do. This is obviously work for a mix set, and if you have the other pieces like we previously discussed, you can also try rocking a 4-2-4 with the cap boots. It gives you a little bit better stats a little bit more balancing. How you duel them is up to you. Everyone has their preferences, everyone has their differences, and some compositions work better with certain stats than others. The three main pieces I recommend are always these, just simply because the amount of stats you gain for these three pieces don't match the non-champs. And these three champ pieces all give you HP, which work well for a mix set. Once you're pretty much done those, then that's when you can move on to your accessories, if you plan on going that full investment. However, that really varies, but this is why you'll see a lot of players have this mixed set. Basically, out of the three main hands, the cavalry is the best one. Next one up would be the sword, and lastly, if you're going to make another one, it's going to be the great sword. Same goes for the helmets. You want to make the champion helmet first, then you want to make your visor, and then your armament if you're going to make all three. For chest, this one's the most important, this one secondly, this one third. Boots, you start off with the imp, followed by range, followed by calf. With your offhand, you're going to want to do the imp range, and then to finish off the calf range. For accessories, the way I recommend these would be to go with face at first, that you can use for your cavalry, because this will allow you to use them for cavalry and your mixed stats, and you can share your cups for inf range, which they give pretty decent stats for inf and range. Everyone should know this. Everyone knows cups are the way to go. So basically, after that, you want to make the blessings, because then the blessings you can share for your infantry or your range, and you can also change your total composition. And lastly, I recommend the valors, simply because then you can switch these cavalry face, make them infantry face. You can make your blessings range blessings, and you can make these cavalry valors. And that's pretty much how we're planning on gearing up. And it's going to look something like this. So this is going to be the cavalry. Then range is going to look like this, with all three blessings. And then infantry is going to look like this, pretty much with the addition of the other fates. So that's pretty much how it goes. I personally run these 8 pieces whenever you run like a 4-2-4 of some sort, whether it be 9-4-7, 7-4-9, that depends, but this can be easily modified if need be. You can switch out the sword. A lot of people like to do this to give you a little more range and infantry stats, and you can see how it balances out. Now I do have some Baron jewels which would make the stats a little bit different, but that's when you can adjust the stats how you want them. Next, I do have a 4-4-2 set that I also use, which is pretty much these. And I like to keep these 3 pieces, because these 3 pieces gives you, every single one gives you HP over the others. So the calf helm has HP, the other 2 helms do not. And you can just quickly verify that. You'll see has 49 HP, 14 attack. Champion visor and armament only have 28 HP. And HP makes a big difference when you're defending stuff, especially on a wonder. Same with the range chest. The range chest has 35 HP. The champion mail has 21 HP, but it does have 14 army attack. And of course, the boots all have the same stats. And that's pretty much it. The way you should always do your gear for your blast should be something like this. If you don't have a champ jewel, then I believe it look more like this. So you should always use your infantry attack, your terror jewel, and your Trojan jewel. And each blast will have their own version, whether you have the Gargantua for cast or the Worm for range. So pretty much gear is based on how much you want to spend and how far you're willing to go. And of course, sigils also matter when you're a Wonder Rally lead. But this is pretty much the best way to go, the best mix that I advise, and you can pick from there. If you have any more questions or concerns, feel free to discuss. And I just know a lot of people have been asking what gear I recommended, what's the champion route, and once again to remind you, it would be boots, imp boots, the imp calf offhand, the range chest, helmet, and sword, followed by your other two boots, and then basically your imp range sword, which would be this, and your imp range helmet, and your lantern. After those pieces, you can do as you wish with the rest, whether you want to make the other pieces or you want to start focusing on your fates. And a lot of the time, I recommend fates for people who are gonna make sure that they invest in it, because it's gonna take you probably about 34 or something like that gold mains, plus all the embers that you need. And it's not simple, it's a long road, you need 41 embers, so if you don't see yourself spending enough to get that many rising champs, or your luck's not that great, I don't recommend them. You can better off investing in something else like your castle stars or just your T5 gear, so you can reduce your T5 cost. T5 gear is almost done, and you can upgrade your familiar gear, make more familiar stuff. Hunting, if you have extra speed jewels, is the best one to go. And of course your speed set. This is the ones I use because I don't use gloves, but I do like the fact that the gloves are there, so I fill all these up with HP jewels. A, for the speed, and B, if I'm sending my leader with in speed gear, let's say I'm just trying to rush something, or trying to snipe or something real quick, and let's say you're trying to get the fort at the beginning and then someone comes out of nowhere and snipes you, you want to at least have some HP if you're caught off guard. However, you should always be in gear, but if were to happen, this also helps. So there's plus and downsides to adding jewels that you need, but they're hard to get. The best way to get them is actually in the star pack, and hunt buses, buying packs and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. To me, gear is something that's always been simple. Each set has their own pieces, each comp has their own pieces. And yeah, anyways, hope that helps. And yeah, enjoy. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe. See ya.